right, welcome aboard, everybody. This is Fly in Formation. If you didn't know, this is a spin-off from my mix show After the Smoke is Clear. Every week I play an hour worth of independent hip-hop. And if you're looking to listen to these interviews in kind of like audio-only podcast form, the place you can do that is mixcloud.com/Doobyis. That's the only place they're posted as audio-only. Otherwise, over on YouTube or twitch.tv/Doobyis is kind of the home of where these things happen live Tuesday nights. And tonight, for a return, I've got my homie Javier Escuela. He's based here in Lethbridge and has been making a lot of noise recently. Welcome, man. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Doobyis. I appreciate it, my bro.
Hell yeah, man. So, dude, I saw you perform, what was that, 3 weeks ago now, something like that. The guys from Aboriginal Entertainment asked me to come through and judge for a little kind of showcase that they were doing with a bunch of local talent. And man, you stole the show that night. It was, perfect scores, I think, across the judging table from what I could tell from the guys sitting beside me or whatever. And I know I gave you top scores because, especially when you're talking about like a local hip hop platform, what more can you do? You were up there freestyling, you nailed all your lyrics. I think the one track was freestyle, right? You did do some freestyling up there? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I heard you doing some shout outs to some of the other guys in the crowd or whatever. So, yeah, man. But can you tell us about the new album that you got coming up? I know I saw you said you got a grant for it and been working hard on that, man.
Yeah, so, after years and years of applying for stuff and paying people to apply for stuff and never getting through, finally we've managed to make some leeway. So the show that I did was all purely new album shit. So like everything that I did at that show is all music that's unreleased. People haven't even heard it yet.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of trying to keep it that way. I literally have only shown my roommate. Like I haven't shown many people. I've only shown my roommate like a couple songs. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I've shown the producers. Obviously, I had to rap it in front of them, in front of the people who are creating it and stuff. But it's been a really like quiet process. But I've also been trying to like let people know that I am working on it.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to give away too much. You know what I mean? I don't want to give too many snippets and previews and stuff like that because, it's just, that's what I've always done.
Until it's time to debut it, hey?
I've always shown people before I release the shit. And then I'm just like, and then I want them to listen to it on Spotify. Like I want them to hear it for the first time when everybody else hears it. I
Run the streams up, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And also I like to have listening party. I want to have a listening party for this one. I always have listening parties for albums.
Nice.
And I want to have a listening party for this one. And I want that as soon as it releases, I want, people to be that's the first time they hear it. And it's just kind of a collective thought thing. You know what I mean? Like everybody is kind of in the same place at the same time, Nice, and it's like, there's power in that. There's power, like not that I can tame, but there's just like power in that. Like there's thought power.
I've actually been seeing like a few different indie artists. Like I saw Tariq up in Edmonton did a listening party recently, and like I've seen some indie rappers doing these listening parties or whatever. And I think it's a good way to kind of build community and like, I don't know, just really bring your core audience together to enjoy the thing with you, right?
And give them something, you know what I mean? Like give them something to like remember or something to be a part of. It's like, it's kind of an exclusive thing, it's like, I want people to feel part of like a club, you know what I mean? Like feel part of like a special group when they listen to the music and they hear it for the first time. So it's like,
yeah, for real.
Yeah, man,
I think that's a great way to build that feel, man. Yeah. Can you tell us the title of the album or release date yet? Do we have a release date for it?
No release date. Title is still tentative. It's just like the concept that comes to mind is elevate. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to elevate my plateau and trying to explore some new emotions and some new styles and new feels. And it's really like, it's also a journey. You know what I mean? Like the original title was Elevate, the Journey of a Mentor. And I took out the mentor part because I don't know, it just seems presumptuous. And I was like, elevate the journey. I kind of like that, like elevate the journey. And then it's still like, it's still in the air. You know what I mean? I need to listen to the finished product and have some.
I was gonna say that's interesting because like I was under the impression you're done all the music, right? Like when I talked to you at the show, you said you were going to record in Calgary and kind of knock it out, right? So is it all done?
Yeah, it's not done yet. I'm still waiting on the like final few tracks, and then I'm probably gonna send them back and have a couple touch ups here and there. You know what I mean? And
right.
And I'm already taking notes on the songs that I have, and like it's just, yeah, it's a process. So I've got them all recorded and I've like heard all of them. I know all of them by heart, but I just want to hear them like sequentially in one sitting,
right.
You know, by myself.
I know the feeling. Really go over it and kind of like nitpick. And if you hear a delivery that you want to change, go back to it or whatever, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense, man.
So yeah, like the whole thing about it is just kind of like, it's the journey of like kind of my progression through hip hop. So I'm really excited to show people like where I've been and where I'm at now. And it's such a huge contrast. So
that's dope,
kind of cool.
Am I right in thinking you have been working in schools recently? Like are you a teacher?
No, I'm not a teacher. I work for an after school program.
Okay.
So I do like, you know,
because the mentor line kind of made me think like, oh, okay, I get it. He's been mentoring a bunch of youths or whatever. But
yeah, like I that's kind of always been my thing. But I also don't like to call myself that because a lot of times like the best way to connect with youth is to just like be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's one thing that I've realized is like grown-ups are constantly trying to give kids advice. Like they're constantly like, yo, you need to do this or you didn't do that. And it's just like, man, just sit with them sometimes, you know? So it's like,
yeah,
as much as I like to give advice and I want kids to succeed and I want them to be able to overcome their trials and tribulations, it's like you give them power by telling them, or by not telling them how to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And I mean, kind of leading by example goes a long way, right? Like,
yeah,
just doing the damn thing and letting the ones coming up watch it, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite song off the new EP, or is it an LP, an EP? How many tracks do you have?
It's 11 songs.
Okay,
so
nice. That counts as an LP. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's yeah, I don't really have a favorite yet. You know, I think my favorite might be this one that I have a feature on with my homie Steely Owen from New York.
Dope.
Big feature. I'm really excited about it. And the song is sick. So I'm just like sitting on it. I don't know. There's a lot of favorite songs.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. I think it's an interesting question to ask artists because you expect maybe like the single or whatever, but that's not always the artist's actual favorite. That might just be the one they figure is most marketable or whatever. Do you have some singles planned out? Have you thought about that aspect of it?
Yeah, I've thought about which ones are going to be singles, and I think the features are really good for singles. And yeah, the more the merrier. I want to see which ones I'm gonna be focusing a lot less on music videos and a lot more on just like reels for each song, just like minute long reels. You know what I mean, of the intro of the song or something, and just really try and get creative with that. I've got homies from the office there, Demi and Sedona. Demi's going to give me a hand with some of the just the concepts and maybe some of the filming. So yeah, I got a solid team. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the most important things about this whole endeavor is that like I've got a lot of features. I've had the opportunity to pay my friends for their features, for their beats, for their time.
Beautiful.
I've had the opportunity to keep the money like within our circle, and it's been nice because everybody that contributes has contributed like dopeness. You know what I mean? Like I've had Jerry write a bridge for me. He's on one of the songs.
Nice.
I've had Keegan make all the beats. He's on one of the songs as well. He features on one of the songs.
He made all the beats for it, the entire project?
He made all but two.
That's K-Dub, right? We're talking about?
Yeah, K-Dub. He made all but two.
Okay.
And he's been sending me beats for years, and he's like, it's gotten to the point where now he categorizes the beats. He'll be like, oh, these ones will be good to send to Jerry. These ones will be good to send to Javi. These ones will be good to, post on my page. But he sends me beats, and every time he sends me a new beat, like almost every time, it's like, yeah, that's it. I want to write to this. So I actually do have a lot of other stuff that I've written that I'm going to like keep using. I don't think that there was like a best and worst from what I picked on this album. I think it just what fit the concept of the album. And the concept is like really like, that's the important part to me, is it's like a fucking character arc, you know what I mean? Like I really concentrated on like, you know, the lie and the rising action, and then, you know, the part in the story where the character learns the lie and learns about the lie and denies the lie and still keeps on trying to do what they got to do to get what they need, and it doesn't work because of that, you know, that lie that's continuously, you know, holding them back. And then once they discover what the lie is, you know, that's when they start to resolve the conflict and it actually gets resolved. So
nice. So it's going to be like a pretty conceptual album then.
Yeah, it's a story arc. And I mean, like, I want the songs to be like good on their own. Like I want each song to be like dope on its own, right? Because like I would like to release all of them as singles if I can, you know, but like I want every song to be like good on its own, but it kind of follows like a timeline. It follows like a trajectory.
Nice.
So it starts out with like, you know, the first some of the first lines about like my past, or like I used to skip school, you know what I mean? Like that was one of the first lines. And so like it just kind of has a story arc, you know what I mean? Like it has a character progression.
Is it autobiographical? Because I heard,
yeah,
definitely, like when you were on stage, there were some pretty, you know, personal sounding bars that I caught, you know,
absolutely,
where you were really opening up about past experiences and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, everything I write is from me and is about me. You know what I mean? Like there was times in my life where I would write about things that I hadn't gone through, and then I would go through them. And you know what I mean? Now I'm at the point where I'm a man now, you know what I mean? And I realize that like I've done some shit. I've been through some shit. I've seen some shit, you know what I mean? So like, what better way to kind of, you know, deal with that than to rap about it, you know? So
do you think like stylistically your lyricism has evolved through the years, or especially like from last album to this album, or are you pretty much maxed out in that stat?
I don't know. I feel like it definitely has changed, and I mean, like, you know, call it what you will, whether it be good or bad, but I think I've kind of stopped giving a fuck about like really being super lyrical and like trying to put together like, you know, really complex schemes and double entendres and stuff like that. Like,
right.
I think I've just started to focus more on like, you know, my melodies, and I'm trying to focus more on just like getting a point across, you know what I mean? And saying what I need to say without, you know, like without.
Man, I could feel the emotional connection to the crowd, like as you were saying it, you know, it was definitely building off, like you said, your experiences, but in a very relatable way. And, you know, I think a lot of the time when guys really go in on that, like rappity rap, super lyrical rap god style, it's tough to also, you know, be conveying a relatable message. You know, a lot of guys seem to get wrapped up in just barring out.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. Like I listened to some of my old music, and I've been really on this, like for this album especially, I was really on a journey through my own hip hop experience. So I found some of my original, you know, mixtapes from like 10, 15 years ago. And I was listening to all of it and like really analyzing it, like as bad as the sound was and like as terrible and hard it was to hear. I really like dissected it and like tried to think about like, okay, what kind of lyricist, what kind of MC have I become, and what was I then?
Yeah.
And it's funny because like I'd listen to it and I'd be like, man, I was really good. Like I could really like string together multis like nobody's business. Like it was crazy. And I was able to still get a message across. Like my earlier days, I would talk about, you know, when I was like 18, 19, I was all into like, you know, Illuminati and like all the scary shit. You know what I mean? So I was always writing. I was writing music. I was writing, but I was also intelligent. I was also educated. So like I would try and be as smart as I could. But at the same time, it's like I listened to it and I was like, damn, I was really good at rapping. But like now when I rap, I feel like I'm able to kind of like take that feeling, that emotion that I would get from being such a good rapper, like having multi-syllables. That was really me being a good rapper. It was just, I knew how to string together multis. Like that was what good was to me.
Yeah.
And now it's just gotten, it's evolved so much that like, yeah, I like to be lyrical, and it's hard to get away from that. Like even at my last show, I think somebody came up to me and they were like, oh, it's like if Eminem if Locksmith and King Los had a baby, or yeah, like it was a locksmith and King Los had a baby. I was like, what the fuck you know about King Los?
That's a good
And
compliment, man. Yeah.
yeah, and I was like, thank you. Like that's dope. I grew up on that shit. I grew up on King Los. You know, listening to his freestyles changed my life. Like Jerry showed me his freestyles, and that shit like changed me forever. I was like, man, there's people out there that can rap like this. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, man. Some guys' skills are mind blowing, dude.
Yeah, and so like, yeah, it's nice to be like, you know, kind of lyrical and like known for that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, man, like I like to just get you in the feels. I like to get you feeling things. Like you're not going to remember what I said. You're not going to remember what I did. You're going to remember how you felt.
Yeah.
Weird, man. How I made you feel.
I remember some of the bars you were talking about, like, you know, downtown's about to get a boost.
Yeah.
Something about off the roof or something. And yeah, man, I know, you know, I've seen Jerry, you know, posted up on the roof there at the fire hall or whatever in some of his recent posts on social media or whatever. But yeah, dude, that's real close to the home turf here. I think downtown Lethbridge, you know, has a lot of hip hop hanging out on the rooftops, it seems like, because you know, I'm out there all the time too, bro. Yeah. So you told me about it, so this isn't such a question for me, but can you talk about the recording process? Like, where did you go record at?
I went up to Calgary. I recorded with my boy Chetta. He's an old friend of mine. His name's Shay Michael. He's really, really dope. He's got a really great sound in his own music. He's produced for many different artists like Trippie Redd and Connor Price, nice. Mercury's, a couple big names. And just a super down to earth and chill dude. I hit him up because I just saw he was moving, and I was like, yo, man, like we used to battle back in the day in Calgary, like, you know, 12 years ago or something. We used to do these rap battles. And he always tells me this, and he's like, you just always beat me, so I stopped showing up. And the reason that I say that is because it's honestly a flex, because like he's one of the best battle rappers that King of the Dot has ever seen. And he's just, his pen game is crazy, but when we freestyle battled, like I just had that edge, right?
Yeah, man.
His pen game, like he would slaughter me in a written match. You know what I mean? Like he's so good. And
did you used to freestyle battles? You'd actually go out and
not in King of the Dot. No, not in King of the Dot. In King of the Dot, I brought my best bars, but I forget it a lot, so I would always resort to freestyling. And it was kind of a strong point for me at some points, but sometimes, most of the time, it wasn't.
Weird.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, go ahead, man. Tell
anyway, so that's how I knew Shay, because I knew him through battle rap, and we had competed against each other so many times that we, I guess, developed a friendship. And so when I hit him up, I was like, yo, man, like, you know, I'm trying to work out a budget here for this new album, and you know, just wondering what kind of rate I could get with you. And he's like, man, I've been your homie for a long time, so like let's figure out what you need, and then we'll go from there. Beautiful. So I went up to Calgary. I went and recorded at his place. He just got like a little homemade studio, which was really dope. He had this custom mic. He did a kind of different sound with everything, and I'm really excited to, like, you know, it's going to be different from some of my other stuff. So I've never worked with him before, but I've just known him for so long, and I figured it'd be a good opportunity to work with him.
For real. So did you record like 11 tracks in one day, or how many days were you up there?
4 days, I think.
Oh, nice.
4 days. So I'd go in the studio and do, well, actually 3 days. It was supposed to be 4 days, but I finished early.
Okay.
I tried not to do too much, because like there's definitely been times where I go in and I try and cram like 4 songs into like a 2 or 3 hour session. So I was trying to do like an hour per song, take lots of breaks, and we just took our time. We would have like 5-hour sessions and just kind of record like 3 songs each day. And then on the last day, we just got a couple extra. So I was really eager to go home. I was like, man, I just don't want to go see my kid, see my girl, and just like, yeah.
Get back to the home turf, yeah.
Yeah, but it was dope, man. It was dope being up there. I got to stay with the homie Faris. So when I wasn't recording, I was hanging out in a house full of comedians, watching comedy specials, just talking shit. It was just a good environment, good atmosphere. I felt like I needed to get away. I needed to kind of like, zone my brain into a different mind state. And being in the city always kind of helps me for that.
For real.
Kind of gives me like, I used to live in Calgary. I lived there for like 2 years, and it was like one of the worst times of my life, even though it was one of the best times of my life. Like I opened up for Mac Miller while I was out there. I opened up for Joey Badass, Nonfiction, a
Nice.
bunch of dope artists, and but it was just a dangerous time. And so every time I'm in that city, it just like I get reminded of it. Like the time before last, I literally gave CPR to a guy on the street.
Damn.
I was walking by, and then this guy he had the naloxone, and he's just like, hey, and I asked the person I was with, I was like, can you call 911 and start giving this guy CPR while buddy's administering the naloxone. And
well done, man.
it was a scary experience. And it's like, it's not it's not the first time I've seen that. It's the first time I've responded that way and been in the headspace to respond that way.
Right.
But like, I've seen plenty of overdoses in my day. And
yeah, man, let me just interject and say people should go get naloxone trained. You can do that at any pharmacy. They'll give you a free naloxone kit. Yeah, I used to work harm reduction, so I've definitely used some of those in my day. But yeah, it's the more people out there doing that, the better. I think that
yeah, man, it's like, we could have just kept walking, and like I'm really glad that we didn't, because the guy that was helping him, he needed help.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
He needed an extra set of hands, so I'm glad I was there. But like, yeah, like that made it into the album. Like that experience kind of made it into the album, and like in more ways than one. Like, yeah, I wrote about it and I rapped about it, but also like I was back in that place. You know what I mean? Like when I did rap it, I was in a place where it was like it happened yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was really able to like recount that, and that's the thing, man. Is like, you got to get into the right. I had to get into the right headspace to be able to finish this album, because it's a fucking journey, man. Like it's a journey throughout my whole shit. Like.
Is it tough to get in that headspace? Like, was it a few days away from kind of the regular grind and kind of family life and responsibilities that we all have in real life that you needed to get in that headspace, or?
Yeah, and it's kind of like it's basically like I'm kind of always in that headspace, but when I am, it's like it's almost like an imposter syndrome. Like I think about like it's like a different character, like it's like a different person who like went through that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, this is me now. Like I'm super dad. You know what I mean? Like this is who I am now. This is all this trauma from the past is just somebody else. But then when you really like make it real and like accept it. It created a certain type of sound and tone that I wanted. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's.
So you said you responded to that overdose situation, and then it made it into the album. Does that mean you were writing actively while you were still up there in Calgary, or?
No. Like it was the time before. So like the time that I went to Calgary before I recorded the album, which was like, I don't know, a few months ago or something, probably before the winter started.
Right. So before you go in to record something like that, like have you been rehearsing the lyrics to the point where you've memorized them, or I know some guys like to do that so they're not even reading off a phone when they're in the booth, kind of deal?
Yeah, I think for all 11 songs, I think I had to read probably like 3 times, and that's just to like get a refresher. I would have my phone up, but if I wasn't facing directly into the microphone, I wouldn't feel comfortable, because that was one of the things that like I was tired of doing, was tired of going into a studio and reading. And even though you couldn't really tell the difference, it's what I've always done.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I wonder what it's going to sound like when I've memorized it, performed it, and like found my melodies. I think that's a big thing too, is like when you're just rapping it at home in the shower and shit, like you don't find the places that you want to go completely. And I make the mistake of recording a song and then performing it 10 times. And at the 10th time, it sounds 10 times better than the recording. Right.
Yeah, man.
And I'm like, damn, I wish I could record this now with these new melodies in my head. And like the way I do it on stage is way different. So
I think that's a really common experience for rappers to go into the booth and record it the day that they wrote it, and then, like you said, perform it 10 times and find out that if I breathed here instead of there, the flow's a little bit nicer or whatever, right? And it just gets a little bit more natural. Yeah.
But that was my like main goal with this, was to write it all, memorize it all, and then record it. And that was like the whole thing, was I was just rehearsing it for weeks and weeks, just like practicing every song at my house, just rapping it over and over and over again until I got sick of the shit. And
did you have it written before you got the grant, or did you get the grant and then go into album writing mode?
No, I had a few of them written before the grant came, and then I had kind of a concept already. Like this has been kind of an idea of mine for a while, which is why I think I got the grant, is because like I've been working on it for a long time. And
Can I ask, did you write the grant yourself, or how
yeah,
did it
absolutely I
go
did.
this time? Because you mentioned before you'd paid people to write
Yeah.
proposals. Yeah.
And I mean, nothing against people who do it. You know, I definitely met some really cool cats that do grants, and they'll write for you, and they'll take a little bit off the back end, or they'll charge you up front. But yeah, this was the first time that I ever just like did it myself,
Beautiful.
and I used various tools and various things to like map it all out, man. And big shout out to AI, big shout out to ChatGPT for helping me map out some of the budgeting stuff, help me map out some of the promotional stuff, help me map out some of the songwriting like concepts, and just like, man, I used it. I was like, fuck it, I know how to use this shit, and I might as well use all the tools that I have. I got in touch with the director of AFA, so like I sent him an email early on, like asking him questions about it, and he responded, and then we just started building this dialogue. So I was like, you know, like this is what I'm trying to do. I applied for a bunch of like two or three different grants, and they agreed on the album grant. So
Beautiful.
yeah, and I'm kind of a shoe-in for a marketing grant now. So hopefully I can get a marketing grant, and after I release the album, I can put some dollars into marketing it. So
Yeah, man, I hope so too. Um, so you mentioned using AI for like songwriting, song structure. What part of songwriting did you use AI for? Because I mean, I've like
oh,
as a
bro,
joke told it to write a rap or whatever, and it's not as good as you
it's
are. That's for
terrible.
sure.
It's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
But I can use it as like either a rhyme dictionary. I can use it as a thesaurus.
Okay.
So if I'm trying to find, you know, like a different way to say a certain phrase,
Right.
I'll put it, be like, can you use this in you know, North American colloquialism, like in some kind of way to in a way that people here will understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And make it a little bit more simple. Yeah, absolutely, man. Like it's one of those things. When I first started rapping, I walked around with a rhyme dictionary. Like I
Yeah.
had a rhyme dictionary, and I would write down ideas in it, and I would find words that rhyme. And like, why not, man? It's all tools.
For real.
It's what built the lyricist that I am today. You know what I mean? That's one of the key factors, was learning words and vocabulary.
Yeah, man.
So now that ChatGPT is out, you know, like I can say things like, hey, can you give me like a catchy quote about, you know, like seeing the moon in someone's eyes or something, you know what I mean? And it'll give me a catchy quote, and I'll be like, okay, can you think of something um, in that same dialogue, but in this style of writing? I'll be like, writing style of a romance novelist, or of whatever, you know what I mean? Like you can do whatever. I've thought about like song titles in the concept of Stephen King, you know what I mean? Like I'll just type in like, hey, what's a good concept or a song title for this kind of song if it was a Stephen King movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like
That's dope, man.
it'll give me a cool answer. And even though if it's not accurate, if it's not whatever, it's a creative tool. You know what I mean? It's like helping me use my creativity and like spitting shit back at me. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
But it's like
that's
if it does,
interesting, man. I feel like a lot of artists are like super just like opposed to AI, and they're
of
afraid of
course.
like what it's about to do to the music industry. And you know, I mean, shit. I woke up this morning and was like, "Oh God, Kendrick fired back," and then like go to the comment section and it's like, "Oh no, that was just an AI drop or whatever."
Yeah, I mean
That's
you know, it's fire bad. You know what I mean? Like fire bad. Oh,
yeah,
it's like, no, man, it's just a tool. It's something that you can use. Like, yeah, it could be dangerous. Yeah, it could be, you know, it could steal intellectual property. You know what I mean? It could do all these things.
steal voices. That's
Yeah,
yeah,
but it's here, and people are using it, and that's not going to stop. They're not going to be able to outlaw it. It's the internet. The internet is
for real.
literally the Wild West.
Yeah,
Like
man.
everything on the internet is just, you know what I mean? Like, yeah,
Open
they're like, oh,
source.
we don't show you news on Facebook. Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha. You know what I mean?
it's
It's like,
still out there.
what?
Yeah,
Who
yeah,
cares? Like I'm fucking, there's a million other news sites, you know what I mean? Like everybody's
exactly.
getting news, and now that they're getting less news, it's like, is that really a good thing?
Yeah,
You know?
I wouldn't say so, man. As soon as they made that announcement, I put like three different news apps on my phone, and you know they keep me up to date along with yeah the various other places that you catch news or whatever. But
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing, right? Is like it's just this idea of like Some people thought the hammer was a stupid invention. Like, why would you use a hammer? We've got rocks all over the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
Said the guy with a really sore thumb.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right. So it's like if these art, I mean, and all the power to artists who like want to keep creating their own art and don't want their art to be compromised. Like, hey, I empathize with you,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's like this thing is here and people are using it. So um, your
Real.
art is not any less valid because there's AI now. You know what I mean? Like people's art, it's not being replaced. It's being added onto, you know what I mean? Like, this is just another tool for artists to use.
I agree 100%, man. I've said to some of my friends talking about AI that like, it might replace some art, but nobody's trying to hang AI art on their wall, right? Like you still want something
Exactly.
that was made by somebody that you relate to or whatever. I mean, maybe a hotel is going to end up using AI art on their walls or something, but I don't think it's going to take over the lane like some people are afraid of, because yeah, individual expression is what really makes art. And I mean, I don't think anybody's too interested in the cloud mind's individual expression or whatever, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Um, dude, I remember when you got on stage there a few weeks ago, you said you hadn't rehearsed. Do you normally rehearse for shows? Like, I know you got one
Yeah.
coming up. Are you gonna be better
Yeah.
rehearsed for
Yeah.
it?
No, I fucking lied, bro. I fucking lied. I definitely rehearsed for that show. I think that it was more or less just I didn't rehearse that particular set very much. But like I said, I had just finished that, or I just finished writing the album. I was just about to record it.
Right.
It was all memorized. You know what I mean? I've been rapping these songs for a month.
Like you said, ready
You
to go
know,
record, memorized, right?
exactly ready to
Yeah.
go record, and everything was pretty you know locked down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like the set actually put together, I only did it like a couple times the day before. And normally I will try and like practice my set at least a few days before the show, like try and get 3 or 4 collective rehearsals.
For real. I
So
I wanted to ask too, man. Like I know, that night you kind of won your spot on the next gig that's going to happen in downtown Lethbridge here or whatever. You and some other acts are going to be joining them there at whatever it's called, Town Square, a block down from where I'm at right now, downtown Lethbridge. But when you're preparing for kind of like an outdoor, more public show like that, do you prep different songs? Do you plan to not swear? Like, you gonna censor yourself out to not swear and stuff, or like,
yeah,
is there any thought that goes to, okay, I'm gonna be out performing for the public and there might be 6-year-olds watching me?
yeah, and the nice, definitely. I mean, like I have to not so much censor myself, but more just like wiser make wiser decisions.
Yeah.
The thing is with this new album though is like I know which songs are clean and which songs are directed towards family and kids, and some of the songs that aren't are really just a reality of what's happening downtown. So
Right.
um, that's the thing is I think that when it comes to that type of material, I don't feel as bad showing it to kids because like it's real life. You know what I mean? Like I've talked to my
Yeah.
daughter about it. She asks me about people. You know all sorts of people, right? She asks me about people, and I'll just tell her like, "Hey, this is what I know or what I can gather from what I have." And so I think that it's not. I don't think it's a huge deal to like, talk about uh, the problems that downtown Lethbridge faces
For real.
in front of people who are fucking walking around downtown. You know what I mean? Like,
Downtown Lethbridge and downtown everywhere else. I like how Lethbridge, the
yeah,
comment sections on Facebook like to act like, oh, Lethbridge is going to shit. And it's like, guys, this is fucking
no,
everywhere.
it's happening
Like,
everywhere. Yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah,
absolutely is. It
no,
happens everywhere,
for real.
especially here in Canada and in the United States and North America. It's just happening,
And I
but
agree,
everywhere.
man. It's good to have somebody who can relate it to, their kids in a compassionate way and in a real way, right? Like, it's like you
Yeah,
said, that's real life. It's They're gonna see it, they're gonna be around it, so they might as well understand what's going on there to some degree, obviously. But yeah, um,
absolutely.
dude. So I've started doing this. Oh, actually, before we get into this next segment that I've started since I last talked to you, I did want to ask you, since you came out of battle rap, I wanted just your take on like diss tracks in general. We don't really need to go into the whole like actual who's who and who's gonna win or whatever, but just diss tracks in general. Like, do you think that there's an importance for that element in the culture?
If it's bringing more focus and attention to actual battle rap, then yes. If it's not, then I don't know. It's like I like it and I'm entertained by it and I watch it and I listen to it, all the tracks, and I'm just like, wow, like this is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
But
fun
I
to
also,
watch. Yeah.
but I also go and I watch battles. I watch, you know, I watch all the different leagues. You know, shout outs to King of the Dot. I watched. I've been watching it for years and years and years, and I support it. So it's like, to me, I like to think that when I hear about a battle, like a trap battle, especially like right now, what's happening between, you know, Drake and Rick Ross and Kendrick and J. Cole and this whole thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nice to hear, and I'm a big J. Cole fan. I was rooting for J. Cole from the jump. And I still am, you know what I mean? It's like whatever, you know, like
I liked
you
how
be
he
you,
handled
man.
that, honestly, man.
Yeah, you be
To
you,
drop
you know
it
what I
and then
mean?
just be
That's
like, yeah, I didn't really feel it.
people are gonna talk all the shit they want, but they're still gonna get the next Cole album. They're still gonna pick up the fall off. It's gonna be dope, like
Yeah,
regardless.
it
Um,
better be. He's been hyping that one for long enough that yeah, there's high
honestly, like
expectations. Yeah,
I'm one of those people that like even if I don't like it the first listen through, I'll listen to it a couple more times and it'll grow on me. And when it comes to my favorite artists, that's usually how it is. Like I'm a avid album listener. I have a CD player in my car. You know what I mean? Like I want to listen to CDs and albums. So if I go to the music store, which is very limited, I have to know that like I'm gonna buy an album from an artist and the whole album I'm gonna enjoy it. Maybe you skip one track, but like you know I'm gonna enjoy it for the most part. Like
yeah.
for me, those artists are like you know Mac Miller, Black, um, West Side Boogie, um, you know like those ones that like any album they release, I'm down. I'm gonna get it and it's gonna be dope and I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yeah,
So yeah, like
I agree, man. I'm a big fan of complete albums and listening
yeah,
to
so like
them
the
in
whole
hour-long
the whole
chunks.
thing, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing. So yeah, I do find like yeah, I don't know. Anyways,
This is something I've wanted to ask battle rappers, people who came up in King of the Dot or whatever. But like, do you think that having no beats benefits the scene? Because a lot of the time I think like, why don't these guys rap over top of beats while they're doing this? Couldn't we drop beats and have guys battle over top of beats? Because like, you know, I've known plenty of guys who do that style of battle rap and they can all rap just fine to a rhythm, you know? So what is it that scene likes about the I guess acapella? Is it more freedom, like more time to wait
I
for
think
punchlines?
I think it's more freedom and it's also more focus. It's more focus on the lyrics. It's more focus on like the natural cadence of how the bars are. And that's like when you say bars, I never think of like somebody barring out on a beat. When somebody says like bars, I always think about battle rap because it's like, yeah, the way we rap with bars, right? Like 16 bars to a verse, this, that, this.
Yeah,
But like when I hear somebody like talking about bars, I instantly start thinking about like somebody just spitting out bars a cappella, just going, going, going. And that brings battle rap to mind.
for real.
So it's like, I think that the thing is that it kind of emphasizes more on what you're saying, how your voice sounds by itself. Because that's a big thing people don't realize. Like in battle rap, there's a lot of people who don't have the right voice to be like stars.
Right.
And then there's people that do. And those people, when you combine their voice with their cadence, with their pen, with their presence, you know what I mean? Everything kind of combines into like, you know, the package that is a battle rapper. So for me, it's like rapping on a beat, you can kind of like the reason you can freestyle to a beat and people will fucking lose their shit is because you're staying on beat. is, and you got a rhythm, and you're fitting the right amount of syllables there. So yes, that's hard and that's difficult on its own. But when you've got the freedom to pick whatever syllables however many syllables you want, however many words you want in each line,
right,
it kind of makes it so that it's like, if you make one mistake, one fucking little false move, you know, everybody hears it, everybody knows it. When I'm on stage, and you said my live performance that I nailed all the songs. I forgot many lyrics.
Sure, yeah.
Right? I forgot many lyrics.
You played it
just
off
pull myself out of it by freestyling it and then picking it back up when I would remember again. With battle rap, you can't fucking do that. And if you do it, like, you have to make sure that your bars are fucking hard. Because if your bars aren't hard and you stumble, everybody's gonna be like, no, you're whack. You know what I mean? Like, you're whack. Not only are your bars not hitting, nobody's getting any reactions.
Yeah.
Also, you're stumbling like a motherfucker. You sound stupid.
Yeah.
Even one stumble, right? And I mean, it used to be more pronounced back in the day. Like, when you would fuck up, everybody'd be like, oh, Choco, you know what I mean? But nowadays, you see, you know, a lot of these guys getting a lot more grace because they're so good that, yeah, of course you're going to stumble once in a while. You know, a spider doesn't even make a perfect spider web every single time, you know, and that's fucking nature.
For real.
So it's like, it's just.
And a lot of these guys are battling a lot, right? Like, you hear guys who are like, you know, on the second battle in 2 or 3 weeks, and it's like, oh, okay, he's coming up with new material at a fast rate. So you give a little bit more leeway. And like you said, people with reputation, you know what they're capable of. So if they are acting a little bit more casually and fuck up, they get a little bit more slack cut for them, for sure. Dude, I wanted to, so I should tell people.
I'm just plugging in my phone because it's gonna die.
Oh yeah, good call, good call.
Sorry, bro.
So I wanted to tell people who are watching. Javi was telling me he wants to debut, I guess, a track and give us a sample from you know, the upcoming album, play a beat and rhyme on it. We're going to leave that for a little bit longer here. We're 45 minutes into the interview right now. I wanted to go through, so this new segment that I've been doing is I kind of just ask a bunch of rapid fire, like, how important is this or that questions. And it just opens the door if you want to be real brief about it and just be like, it's a 7 out of 10. That we'll go on to the next one. But if you want to, you know, elaborate a little bit more, feel free to. There's no real rules to this shit, but I think it's a good way to just kind of get people to talk about some different topics. So, like, how important is a good stage show for an MC right now in 2024 on the independent scene?
Very important. That's how you're going to make all your money.
Yeah,
very
fair enough,
important.
Man. How important is making a music video?
Not as important. I think more focus is being put on social media. So making reels and making TikToks and making stuff like that is really, really picking up steam.
So the short form content rather than, you know, a full 4-minute long music video or whatever.
People aren't watching music videos on YouTube, man. Like, people don't watch music videos. You know,
I can't remember the last time I did, honestly. Like, sometimes I guess I'll see an independent artist's new shit being promoted and be like, okay, I'll go through just to kind of click like and show some love. But I would agree with that one, man. I don't think they're getting played much music. I don't even know if it exists at this point. I haven't had TV for so long that, like, I don't know where people are seeing music videos, but I guess YouTube, and people do run up play counts there, so maybe it gets people some money, but ultimately I agree. How important is having a DJ for a stage show? Do you ever perform with a DJ?
I have. I think it's important because you want to be able to, like, have a way to, you know, kind of communicate. Like, having your own DJ can definitely help with, like, the flow of the show.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for so long without a DJ that I've kind of just figured out how to coordinate my own shit. Like, I usually just make it a press play type of thing, and I shorten the beats or lengthen the beats to however long.
Do you put them all in one
be.
Session and kind of have like a full, broken down?
I've done that before. I did it for my last show because I didn't have a DJ. So I was like, I just want to make it simple. I'll just send you a WAV file, and it's like, I know the whole set. I'm not going to have to rewind it. That's one of the things that's like, you know, I usually will have like track by track by track by track. But what I'll do is I'll try and make it so that I'll just pull it into GarageBand or Logic or something, and I'll just shorten it so that it's the same amount of time as my performance, because I never perform full songs.
Yeah.
You know, I try not to. I mean, like, not never. I mean, I obviously do, but like, if I have a verse, if I have a song that's 2 verses and 2 choruses, or 3 choruses, then I'll usually just do the first verse and 2 choruses. You know what I mean?
What's the thinking on that? Just to give kind of samplers for people?
Yeah, be able to fit more into a 20-minute set or 25-minute set or however long I'm performing.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's just better to like switch it up. I've kind of always done that.
I think that's probably smart, man. Like maybe for big name artists, you know, if I go see my favorite famous artist, I might be expecting them to perform, you know, the entirety of my favorite song or whatever, I guess. But
it won't be bad if they're not, though.
Yeah, true enough. Yeah,
pretty sure every rap show I've ever gone to has been like, you know, them just showing the first verse of every song, like first and second maybe, and like a lot of time.
I've been to some Wu-Tang shows where they, you know, 4 or 5 guys jump up there and you know, do their verses or whatever. Yeah. But no, I hear you. That happens a lot where they do just skip from track to track, kind of like that. Dude, how important is it to open when big name rappers come through town? Feel like you're like you got to be the automatic, like the promoters probably hit you anytime anybody comes to Lethbridge.
Sometimes it used to be like that, but sometimes now. I don't know, man. It's like, it depends on so many different factors. You know, it depends on what you're planning with it. It depends on who you're working with.
Yeah.
Depends on the bridge you're building. It depends on how serious you are. It depends on what you're expecting. You know what I mean? Because I think that a lot of my career I've spent opening for artists and, you know, had high expectations about it, you know, and I think the coolest things that I've ever gotten the opportunity to do were just meet some of these artists.
Real.
I think that's like that's the biggest, you know, that's the biggest takeaway from it. But, you know, like, as far as building a fan base, like these days, man, like, yeah, you can get thrown on a big show or a big festival and it can change your life. But you have to make sure that there's follow-up. You have to make sure that after you do the show, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing to keep that interest. Because, man, the reason that songs are shorter, the reason that attention span, like people's attention spans are so short now, it's like you have to keep them engaged. And I think that's one of the things that I like really struggle with is like the constant hounding that I feel like I have to be doing for people to like buy my shit. And so I think what I'm trying to do now is just have an approach where like, I just want to make music, man. I just do it because I love it. I don't want to like, you know, have to sell 50 tickets and have to do all this shit and get no pay and open for this artist because it's fucking, you know, oh, you open for a big artist. Good job. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it depends a lot who the big artist is too, right? Like sometimes it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it does. And honestly, like regardless, I feel like it doesn't make sense unless you're doing the follow-up, unless you're doing what you're supposed to be doing after the show and like, you know, maintaining that buzz, because it's so easy to just for people to just tune out. They just and it's also, I'm not blaming everybody else. I'm also saying that it's easy as an artist to not stay consistent enough. You know what I mean? To not like have that really tight consistency and be able to like, okay, I got 10 emails last night, or I got 10 socials last night from the show. I want to make sure I follow these people back. I want to make sure I send them a message over the next 10 days and connect with them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's the necessary part. And that's where it starts to benefit. If you just start building up a resume, like, yeah, my resume has helped me in getting grants. My resume has helped me in getting shows. My resume has helped me, you know, on working at schools. But it's like, I feel like I could have those same accolades with other things, you know what I mean? Like with the things that I've done in the community. So it's like,
that's very valid, man.
It's kind of important, kind of not.
Yeah,
you know, like it depends on how you.
Depends what you're going for real.
Yeah.
How important is having a manager?
Pretty important, unless you're, you know, yeah, pretty important.
Yeah.
I think that's been one of my biggest setbacks, not having a manager. I've kind of always been self-managed,
Okay.
but yeah, it's like it.
You haven't always been. I've booked you through a manager. You're
Yeah,
for
I
a
mean,
concert
like,
across the street from here one time. Yeah.
oh yeah, I guess when we were with Myriad, we had a manager.
Right. This is something I ask a lot of different people. I've got this. I've got a lot of different artists to weigh in on the whole management side of things.
I think
But
it's important. When I was with Myriad, like I said, we opened up for Mac Miller, we opened up for Joey Badass, we opened up for Nonfiction. Yeah, that was a good run, a good 2 years in Calgary, and we had our own manager. It was just a homie though, you know what I mean? Like it was just a homie that was like willing to make some phone calls and like
right.
try and get us booked. So yeah, I think it's important, but it's even more important who it is. You know what I mean? Like one thing that I've noticed is like I it's a hard job. It's a lot of work, especially when you're working with artists who like rappers, you know what I mean? Like something about us, man. We just, like we're just fucking degenerates or something, I just remember being a degenerate and always have to be like woke up early, you know what I mean? Like we got to go to the studio, we got to do this, we got to do that. And just like,
Man,
okay, this is what I wanted.
A lot of rappers are living chaotic lives, dramatic lives. There's a lot going on in a lot of rappers' lives.
Yeah, when I was there, and that time in my life was crazy. So it's like,
for real.
Yeah.
How important is physical merch or pressing vinyl specifically?
These days, it's getting more important. I think pressing merch, I don't know. I feel like there's a big movement against fast fashion these days, and I'm kind of with it. So I think that like we really need, one thing that I really love is when we like make original shit and kind of like use the tools that we have as opposed to like, getting the printers and getting the all the chemicals and everything that has to get done. You know what I mean? Instead, we just make our shirts ourselves, we tie dye them ourselves, and we do it ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more personal. It's a lot more work. Can't mass produce stuff like that, but we don't have to. So whatever.
How about vinyl? You ever done vinyl?
I've never done vinyl, but I want to do vinyl for this album.
Nice.
I want to do vinyl for this album. Maybe just a low number, just for the homies.
Yeah. I mean, I support it, but along with what you said, like about fast fashion, I feel like there's kind of just the whole minimalism movement where sometimes I wonder, like, when will the industry be ready to kind of move on from the idea that, like, I'm only going to buy music if I can put it on my shelf and have it collect dust there? Because we can buy digital music at this point, right? And, like, that's a valid way to support artists. So yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. I like people's answers on vinyl because it's kind of, I don't know. It's big these days.
That's the thing though, is that like it as much as it is, it's like, yeah, it's a great way to support artists by streaming their music. But a better way, you know what I mean? A better way is by buying the physical copy.
Well, streaming it is a very different thing than buying digital. I mean, everything I play on AdSync, I'm paying 99 cents for a single, right? So
$1 per song.
I mean, me doing it doesn't pay anybody's light bill, but if everybody who was streaming music was like, yo, I like this song a lot, I'm gonna give this guy 99 cents, that shit would stack up, right? Like if you listen to a song 10 times, maybe you should go pay the 99 cents for it. Because music isn't free to make, so like it shouldn't be free to just consume. Definitely buy physical too, but I always encourage the digital.
Yeah, it can go both ways. Buying the digital album also helps quite a bit too. So
for real,
but I mean, I like the idea of collectors, of people collecting things. Like if I was to make vinyls, I would probably make like 10 or 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it would be just for
short run.
I wouldn't even sell them. It would just be for like, hey, I want to give like my dad would want one, I'd give one to my girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like give a couple to the homies that I know have record players, but a couple different friends, right?
For real. Dude, I wanted to ask you, so we're done, I guess, with the how important is. Well, no, maybe I'll word it in a how important it is.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Let me word it in a how important is. How important is an artist's location? Can you succeed from anywhere?
Yeah, you can succeed from anywhere. Absolutely. But I think an artist's location is important in the sense that you have to like commodify it. You know what I mean? Like where you're from and like where you are can be used as a selling point. You know what I mean? If you're able to twist it in a way. I was talking to this comedian, James Roque. He's this Filipino guy from New Zealand. And he was telling me, like, when you have a specific ethnicity, a specific location, and those two things, when they mix, it creates something really unique. And like, that's a part of who you are. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of what those two things are, they mix something that's very unique. And the fact that, like, he would be like, the fact that you're a Salvadorian kid growing up in Lethbridge, like, people need to know that. And people need to know that that's like a part of you and like how that has made you who you are and like what kind of.
Well, and it gives you a lot of stories other people can't tell, I'm sure.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
Exactly.
So I agree, man. People should wear that shit on their sleeve. And
yeah. And location's important in the sense that like you have to remember where you're from and know where you're from and know how to kind of commodify that. Like people love the small town vibe, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you're a small town kid, you know, like that's cool, you know, like doesn't matter if like you were actually on a farm. People are going to immediately identify that with when they hear that about you, right? So it's like you gotta kind of use that to your advantage. I used to always think that like you need to be in a big city and stuff, which is important to a certain degree. Like you do want to be making physical connections with people, and like traveling is always awesome.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah, people can make it from their basement, man, like wherever they are.
Well, and the internet lets us network, man. I can speak from experience that, like, you know, my network of artists I know has spread out across Canada. And I mean, I've never been to Halifax, but I know 5 artists there and they know me at this point, you know, because we've talked for an hour. So yeah, the internet has opened a lot of doors for a lot of people, I think. But
this is a great way to connect with people for that reason too, man. Like to be able to like kind of bridge that barrier of like, oh, we're just emailing or we're just texting or we're just messaging. You know what I mean? It's like, now we are able to chat with each other. Like I'm there with you and that's fucking far away. You know?
And it's a good way to make content too, man. I think a lot of artists struggle with like what you were talking about like staying up and constantly you're supposed to be dropping a new piece of minute-long content every day or whatever. You know, chopping little clips out of interviews is a great way to do that. So that's the grind I've been on lately. Lots and lots of time spent chopping clips and finding the minute that people should see or whatever. But yeah. Kind of in closing here, man, can I ask you, what does success as a musician look like to you? Like, what's the goal?
Oh, there's so much nuance to this question, dude.
Right.
But it's like,
and everybody has different answers, man.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't want to make it cliche. I think success to me looks like being able to kind of do what I love doing all the time, even if that means like enjoying my job, like my day job, and like loving my day job.
Yeah.
Loving the time that I spend with people and that I spend with my family. And it's like, you know, I don't always get to do that. Sometimes I hate my day job. But I think success is just being able to like reflect on it and say, hey, look, like I'm grateful for what I have, but also understand that I'm trying to build something bigger.
Yeah.
So I think success for me is like working for myself, you know, being able to like work for myself and be my own boss, in the sense that like, if I surround myself with the right people and the right creatives, then like we can build something together. You know what I mean? And I think that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to do something that's a little bit bigger than music, you know?
Yeah.
So success to me is like finally seeing that dream through and really like, you know, pursuing it. And I am pursuing it now. So like, it's just a plan. It's just a process.
For real. So other than the questions I've asked, I mean, I got a couple more that I just kind of always wrap with. I don't know. Do you want to cut on a beat and spit that track for us, or Should
Man,
we do these
I don't
last
want
couple questions and end it on that note, or how do you want to do this, man? Up to you.
I don't know, man. I don't want to have to choose. I want the questions and the beat.
Well, sure. I mean, so I always ask people. I always ask people to describe their local scene, the local hip hop scene. Can you describe the Lethbridge scene?
Oh man, full of insane talent, man. Very overlooked and underappreciated.
Yeah.
And I'm like, please do not assume that I'm talking about me. I'm talking about literally everybody else.
I mean, you're included in that equation.
Whether I fit into that category is irrelevant because it's coming from me right now, and I want to just really shine light on
for real
on the real stars.
That's the other question I ask everybody before I let them go is who are some artists from your scene that people should be up on? Give some love, man.
Yeah, so like, oof. I felt like the city has always had it, but now it's really starting to come to light and there's more people trying shit. I got to give big shout outs, obviously, to some of the vets like True Apostles, Jerry Jack, and K-Dub.
Yeah.
Always releasing dope music. Jerry Jack working on film, working on all sorts of different crazy shit, including me and his endeavors, and just really putting on.
Do you know, is there more True Apostle stuff coming? Because I feel like it's been a little bit of a hiatus. Like I play their stuff on Atzik, and I feel like I haven't seen new releases for a little bit here.
Yes, there is.
Nice.
Jerry Jack's working on a solo project. He's about to release a new video sometime soon. I don't know if this is too much information.
No, don't let the cat out of the bag. But okay.
I've been hearing him rapping his songs and stuff, and I'm just really excited for it because it's gonna sound super dope. I'm super pumped.
Good, man. Yeah.
Keegan's just always producing beats. He's always working on solo shit too. I think they're working on a grant for a mixtape, so they wanted to do like a super crew mixtape where they kind of produce all the beats and work on that.
Cool.
That's still up in the air. Big shout out to them, always doing stuff. And the thing is like when it comes to their grind, it's there's so much more than music. Like they're also helping Sedona and Demi do Sound Bites, which is a cooking music show.
Yeah, I saw that.
So they're doing all the production and animation and a bunch of the filming and stuff. Got to give a shout out to Alchemy the Linguist and Donnie Sage and K-Stone. K-Stone's moving. I see K-Stone
gonna say,
moving.
If you didn't say it, I was gonna say K-Stone been putting in work with Alchemy.
I like his sound. I always have. It was just the first time I heard him. I liked his shit. And I listened to his tracks and it's dope, man. It's really cool. Who else? Let's see the homies like Prince Beats, Royce. Shout outs to Young Prince. He's making dope beats. He sends me beats all the time. He just moved here from Ottawa.
Okay.
Did you meet him?
That's a name I don't recognize, man. Was he?
Royce. He was one of the dudes judging. I think he was at that show. He was one of the guys judging at Braids.
Okay.
Glasses, tattoos.
Okay.
Super cool dude, man. Ever since the first time we chilled, we clicked. So
nice. He's
super dope. He's working a lot with Lazi, and shout outs to Lazi. He's doing that's Aziz. He's doing finally focusing on his own rap project, on his maybe not rap, but on his own project, because he's been kind of getting around like doing various cover shows over at the cultural center and like dance shows and like emceeing, and he emceed at one of the rap battles that I ended up winning.
Nice.
So like just a super like very entertaining dude, but I had no idea he could rap. And one day we're in the studio and he just busts out this monster verse, and I was like, "What the fuck? You just write that right now?" And so surprise, surprise, another dope rapper, and he's raps in kind of a British accent, got kind of a grimy sounding, that's really, really dope.
That style is big right now, man. People love the UK accent.
So dope. I don't even think like it's really UK. Like he's African, I'm pretty sure. So like he's, it's just kind of got that. I don't know. It's got a really dope vibe. Really, really cool vibe. I think he's kind of going for a more grime vocal. Like he's kind of delving into the UK. But either way, just for that track, and either way, it's dope.
Nice.
Those guys that are doing things. let's see. Yeah, man, as far as Lethbridge goes, like it just when you hear about something happening, man, go check it out. You know what I mean? Like, especially when it comes to hip hop, because there's not very many people out here putting out whack hip hop, you know.
Agreed, man. Yeah. Yeah. Lots of talent. Lots of talent. Lots of gems hiding in the rough out here, I think.
Uh-huh.
Can we tell people about shows coming up? You got anything to promote?
Yeah.
People should come out
Yeah.
to?
So we've got May 3rd at the Owl. We got the BIPOC Foundation show.
Damn, you're on
last
that? Like with Fresh Kills?
yeah, I'm on that.
Dope. I talked
Yeah,
to Kills a couple weeks ago for Flying Formation here, and he mentioned that show.
nice.
So I'll definitely be there. Definitely coming
Yeah,
out to that one. Yeah.
May 3rd, and then May the 4th. We're doing. I know it's not Cinco de Mayo, but we're doing Cinco de Mayo on May 4th with Grupo Latino.
Okay.
We're gonna be doing that at Festival Square, so that's gonna be crazy. A lot of people are supposed to show up, so that's gonna be fun. I'm gonna be helping out with some of the coordination and stuff, and just trying to promote it as much as I can because it's my kind of my homies that are doing the whole event. And then May 11th is Springfest, where we're going to be performing at Festival Square as well. I think that one's free.
Busy start to May, man. Yeah. Sounds like
yeah,
you're gonna got a lot of shows lined up for the beginning of May there. Yeah.
yeah, May is going to be a busy one, and I'm hoping that it'll just stay busy. I just want to try and I'm going to try and book some out of town stuff too, some Calgary, Medicine Hat, stuff like that. But
Get up
Tabor,
to
actually,
Edmonton too, man.
yeah,
Edmonton has a dope hip hop market. I think
I want to
people
hit up
sleep on it.
Kaz actually. I want to hit up Kaz Mega and go up
Yeah.
to Edmonton for sure because he's somebody I've been wanting to work with for a long time. Not like I haven't reached out to him and been like, hey, let's make music. But every time we meet, I'm just like, why don't we have a song together? Like, why don't I work
Yeah.
with this guy or something? You know, he's really
He's got a
dope.
project coming up, man. Now might be the time to hit him. Last time I talked to him, he was talking about how his next project he may end up releasing several different versions of, and one of the versions might be like with beats for people to jump on. So you could probably make some type of remix happen. I think that would be very dope to have the two of you guys on the same track. Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah. It'd be
fun. What's the best way for people to support artists that they like?
Share their music. Share their music on whatever platform or with your friends while you're hanging out. Share their art.
Yeah.
Just show it to people.
Talk about it. Word of mouth. Word of mouth, I think, is even more powerful than just like, hit and share on your story or whatever, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Absolutely. Like, it's just, I mean, regardless of, yeah, you're absolutely right. It is more powerful, but like, regardless, every little bit helps, you know what I mean? It's like, even clicking like helps the algorithm. So it's like,
for real, man, that needs to be said more often. I was just saying earlier last week that like, people are real stingy with that fucking like button. It's like, it doesn't cost you anything to hit like, and it gets the post boosted to more people. Yeah,
absolutely. Like liking people's comments, liking people's things, liking people's videos and all that stuff. It boosts it.
Yeah.
And people need to understand that. Like, you're not liking it so that, and I mean, it sucks because like, you can like something and then it starts showing up more in your feed, right? Because the algorithm picks up.
Yeah, well, it's also training your algorithm. I encourage people to do that. If you don't like social media, it's probably because you haven't trained your algorithm to show you a bunch of shit you actually like. Yeah,
absolutely. I have like different algorithms on different platforms.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'll have like, more musical algorithms on my Facebook platform, whereas I'll have more like memes and shit on my Instagram platform.
Yeah.
And TikTok would be completely different. You know what I mean? Like, try to like master the shit,
Yeah, man, it goes a long way. Which social media platform are you most active on? Where should people follow you?
Instagram. Javier Escuela 101 on Instagram. That's what I'm most active on.
Right on, man. Thanks for doing this. This is normally where I'd end these things, but I'm here for it if you want to rap for us, man. Don't let me put you on the spot, but yeah.
Power on.
Hell yes.
Bluetooth connected.
This is a first. This is a Flying Formation first right here.
Yeah, of course. It's me, bro. Like, of course I'm gonna.
And it's exclusive content too. It's shit people won't even be able to, can't hear it until it's out later,
I'm gonna do it to like a silly beat that I that I didn't write it to, but it's just fun. It's fun because I want to give a big shout out to. Actually, no, I'll do it to my beat. Fuck that. I'm gonna give a shout out to Keegan. Let's see. I'm coming, bro. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
All right. So this joint is called The Setup. Try and keep the beat down a little bit so that you can hear my voice.
Oh, right now, your iPhone's cutting it. It sounds like you might need to crank it up a little bit more. I can't hear any beat at all playing right now. It must think it's background noise.
For now.
No, it's still cutting it. What the fuck? It's real good at knowing how to cancel out background noise, man. It's not playing that beat at all. If you want to kick it, it'll sound a cappella on this end, but the beat will keep you on rhythm, I guess.
Yeah, here, let me just do some a cappella shit quick. So you've already heard this one though. Well, I don't care.
It's all good, man.
I used to skip school to spit raps underneath the bridge. Avoid the broken meth pipes, bottles, and needle tips. I guess things haven't gotten better where I live. People shooting up at the park that I try to take my kid. All I can say is, are you okay? Do you need anything? A bottle of water, I quit smoking, or would have something to give, but then I leave. That's a face that I'll never forget. I got to do a lifetime of good just to settle a debt. Yeah, they say a wise person forgives, but what if the wound's fresh? Hurt people. Who are you going to wound next? A lot of folks move fast, end up in a huge mess. So I'm getting more out of life by trying to do less. You get two deaths. The first is when you're in your grave, and the second is the last time somebody says your name. So what's my legacy? When I reach my end of days in my hand and the next generation, the elder take, yeah, that's how I spelt my name. Reverend, I help the faith and help. Reverend, hold on. Yeah, good, that's how I spelt my name. Reverend, I felt the faith and felt the fade when I realized the culture I loved is all about getting paid and getting laid. Ain't it strange? All the things I came to change ended up taking over. Then I sold my soul to cocaine. And now I look back and see how lucky I was. R.I.P. to everyone I once loved who died from drugs. And now I see the young thugs getting buck and I show them love, but I'm scared because the hate you gave fucks everyone, including us. So maybe I could be the change that I want to see. Turn my life around and left the place that you wanted me. Ain't no one touching me lyrically or publicly. Used to roll deep, now I'm my own company. Y'all need to know me, man. I'm cool with just somebody passing you by. Please humble me. Miss me with these subtleties. I'm not dissing anyone. I'm done with all the gossiping. If we ain't change the world, then don't talk to me. I make music for me. So thank you if you vibe to it. But I don't owe you shit just because you bought my music. Ain't nobody make me. I enlighten your mind through this and you wouldn't love it if it wasn't how I do it. Look, don't get it twisted. This shit is long distance, a marathon of raw lyrics that y'all witness. The industry is all politics. Don't fall victim to yes men, just walk different. I'm kicking heads like this, my kiss of death. I'm still a threat. Even when I was on crystal meth, I never missed a step. I had to interject. When you said my name with some disrespect, someone's getting checked with a lead right and a vicious left. Hit the deck. Every shot I intercept, misdirect. JKD, stay with me. You getting blessed. Bring the rest. Let's mix it up. Who makes it best? It's Javier. In the flesh. Battle Park. Super Crew. City Prophets. Till my death.
Hey, nice, man. I love it. And you know, it fits that it had to happen a cappella, because earlier we were talking about battle rap and, you know, really putting the emphasis on the lyrics and the tone of voice. And
you see, when you fuck up, it's so much more noticeable, right?
Oh yeah, but like I said, it's understandable. When you got a track record, people understand, and yeah, it's all good, man. Yeah, that was dope as fuck, man. Thanks.
Much love. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on here, Brent, for real.
Hell yeah, man.
Thank you for everything you do for the community, and thank you for everything you do on a daily basis. You are a shining light in this entire scene, bro, and I really appreciate what you do for real.
Thanks, man. Love and respect. Talk to you next time, man.
Bless. Peace.
Yes. That was Javier Escuela. If you don't know, now you know. You should go check out his music. He's got his last album up on Spotify and the various streaming places right now. I talked to him when that came out a couple years ago, and now I'm looking forward to being able to hear the entirety of his new project that's coming out soon. No said date, no title just yet, but it sounds like the pieces have fallen into place, and I'm looking forward to hearing that. Once again, if you like these types of interviews, come by Twitch, twitch.tv/Doobyis, Doobyis is where you can find the live interviews every Tuesday night. Right now I'm booked until the end of May. After that, it's kind of up in the air. I might take a little while off, but we'll be back for sure with more Tuesday interviews. So come by, hit follow over there. As well, you can find the videos after they happen live. They go over to YouTube. So youtube.com/Doobyis, real easy to find over there. Doobyis on all the social media platforms. I'm looking forward to talking with the remaining artists who I do have booked through May. That's the schedule beside me there. But if you're listening to the audio only version, next week I'm talking to Sincere. So that's April 23rd. She's a Calgary-based artist. I'm excited to chop it up with her. Everything that I've heard from her is very dope. So yeah, props to Sincere. I'm glad that we're going to make that happen. April 30th, I'm talking to Z the Free. May 7th, talking to Shark the SOB, head of the Sons of Boom Bap, which I've recently been, accepted into. I'm very grateful for that. There's tons of dope MCs in the Sons of Boom Bap. Kits Willman is May 14th, Jay Roberts May 21st, and Roshan May 28th, rounding out the current schedule. But yeah, come on by, and of course check out After the Smoke is Clear. That's the mix show, new independent hip-hop every week, mixed by DJ Dice, hand selected by me. We never play anything twice. It's always brand new, all independent artists from across Canada, and artists who deserve more attention sometimes than they get are being played beside bigger names who are getting a lot of love in the scene. So there's no real threshold or cutoff for how many followers or plays somebody needs to have before I start playing them. If I hear it and it's dope, I'm playing it. And so that's one reason why I always ask artists to tell me some other artists from their scene I should be up on, because I actually go hit follow. So support the artists you like. If you like their music, make sure you show love. Support the shows that support them. Support Flying Formation, After the Smoke is Clear. I've got a merch section over on Doobyis.com. There's a link you can donate direct through PayPal. It's all safe and secure and all that, and it helps keep the wheels greased and things moving forward. I appreciate y'all coming through. Might jump back on later tonight to finish an episode of AtSick, or I might just do it myself, but there will be a new After the Smoke is Clear this week. Make sure you tap in and check that out. Deuces. It's been fun.